Howdy, I'm Sadie, and today I have a really fun, or at least I hope fun project for you. We are going to be trying a concrete project. You know how they say the cobbler's kid never has new shoes? Well, that's kind of the same thing with Awesome Oscar, my dog. He does not have a dog bowl stand, so he's just been eating his food out of his bowls off the floor, and I think he deserves a little bit better. So we're gonna make him stands for his bowls out of concrete. Again, this is my first time using concrete, so I got some molds that are basically just from the Dollar Tree for $1 a piece. Got some concrete, got some rocks, got some oil, dust mask, and we're gonna get started. First up was kind of figuring out how tall I wanted these dog bowl holders to be. I didn't want them super tall, but I wanted to elevate his food just a little bit. And luckily these baskets that I got at the Dollar Tree had these little grooves on them. So I just counted up to where I thought looked good and drew a line so visually I could be able to see that as I was filling it with concrete. Next, to make sure that the concrete doesn't stick to the plastic mold or to Oscar's metal dog food bowl, I went ahead and rubbed vegetable oil all over it. And when you're rubbing it on the dog food bowl, make sure that you're getting a lot of vegetable oil underneath that lip of the bowl, and you'll see why later. One of the reasons I've never done a concrete project before was because the concrete is so heavy and there's so many different kinds of concrete to choose from. But I saw this tip on the internet to open it up and split the bag in half, and it did save a lot of mess and lifting. Then I started filling it up and going for it per the instructions on the bag. This is using some fast setting concrete, so I tried to work as fast as possible and really didn't know what to expect at this point. I really felt like I needed more water, but I was trying not to use way more than what the bag said. Now it's time to put it in there and make sure that it has vegetable oil. And then I really didn't mix enough, and felt like it was starting to set at the bottom. So I was just scraping it out and getting it in there. Added a little bit more water. And then needed to mix some more concrete. The second one goes smoother once you know exactly what you're working with, but it's always better to mix up more than what you're going to use than not enough, especially using this fast setting concrete. Once I get it pretty close to the line, which you can see in the shadow there, I've got it spread out a little bit, and I'm putting some rocks inside the bowl to hold it down so it doesn't float up. And this is what it looked like once I got it all set. And I just kind of smoothed out the top with this little metal piece and my fingers to get it as smooth as possible. Next time I might actually cut the mold down to the size that I want so that I can get it super smooth on the top. I also did tap the sides to get any air bubbles to come to the top. Now for the second one, I just went for it and didn't use the instructions, and definitely put a lot more water in this one. And you'll see at the end the difference between the one with less water versus the one with more water. The one with more water is definitely easier to work with as far as mixing it and getting it into the bowl. But it does cause a little bit of issues down the road when you're trying to set the bowl into the concrete. It does want to float more, so I was having difficulty trying to get it level and stay down inside the concrete. And I would say to use littler rocks than these big ones, because the big ones weren't balanced as well, so it did want to make the bowl sit in the concrete, not level. So if I do these again, definitely use smaller rocks so I can distribute the weight more evenly. But the stressful part is over. I got both of them set and left a mess there till the next day when I could come out and check on how it all went. Well, let's just say I freaked out a little bit when the dog bowl wouldn't come easily out of the mold. I started tapping it to hopefully loosen it up there a little bit, kind of pry underneath the lip. And then I decided, well, let's just take it out of the plastic, and it slipped right out of the plastic mold. So the vegetable oil worked perfectly there. Then I started using a chisel underneath the rim of the bowl, and then they just popped out. So again, I just first scored it, used a chisel to loosen it, and then they pop out. So I think I needed more vegetable oil on the metal bowls to get those out easier next time. And here you can see the difference between the one with more water versus the one with less water. The less water had more holes and pits in it, whereas the one with more water came out way smoother. And I just went ahead and did a quick sand on the top of it to get rid of any sharp edges. Make sure you're wearing your dust mask when working with concrete. You don't want to be breathing in any of that dust. Then I went ahead and sealed the concrete with some just concrete sealer that I had on hand when I had painted one of my floors in my living room. It was a little old, but I figured it didn't have to be perfect for these. I just wanted to close it off so the concrete wasn't so porous. You can see how it makes the concrete darker. It will lighten as it dries, so it won't be this dark, but it is darker than what it is when it's dry. Plus, if Oscar spills anything, because you know he will, all over these bowls, this sealer will help make it easier to clean up. If you want more information on all the products that I use for this project, I do have a full written tutorial on my blog, and I'll leave a link in the description box below. Also, if you're liking this video, please make sure to hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed to my channel for more awesome builds. And then lastly, to make sure that the concrete didn't scrape up my Saltillo tile floors, I went ahead and put these sticker felt feet pads on the bottom of it. And again, this is a good close-up of where you can see the difference between the one that I use more water on versus the one that I didn't use as much water in the different pitting. I kind of like both. So it's just definitely a different preference thing. Now to fill them up and see what Oscar thinks. Oh yeah. These bowls are going to make it so much easier, or so much better, so he doesn't knock over his food bowls all the time. And they look cool. He doesn't seem too impressed, but I sure am. It was fun for my first concrete project. And if you guys like this video, please hit that like button. And remember, build loud, build wild, and have an awesome day. Hi, Oscar.